Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another podcast episode. My name is Alicia Gogan, the host of the Glow Up Seekers podcast, where I help you expand your mind and become more self-aware so that you can glow up into the best version of yourself. Hello, happy Monday. If you're listening to this on a Monday, we are celebrating a very important day today. At least when I'm filming, that day is March 1st. We have officially entered a new season. I feel like this is a very important season for all of us, or a very important month, because it really does mark a real new seasonal change for a lot of us. Now, those of you guys that are living on the other side of the hemisphere, I know you guys aren't actually really experiencing spring, but for the most part, most of my viewers, y'all are feeling it. We are awakening, genuinely, and I'm here for it. And I was actually scrolling on Pinterest and I found a quote, or I read a quote that kind of resonated with me and, of course, spiraled me into a thought process. And we're going to talk about it today. So it's a very small, easy quote. We're going to read it out real quick. And it says, "Clean your spaces, clean your house, your room, your car, your mind, your heart. New things are coming. Make sure you're welcoming them properly." I want to talk about this. Welcoming things properly, and in general, welcoming new things in your life. And I think that this is just something I've been thinking about a lot when it comes to my mindset, my actions, the things that I am spending my time doing in my life. Thinking about how, if I want new outcomes, if I want to experience new things in my life, I have to make room for them. I have to create space in my mind for them. I think about this in terms of, let's say you really want to be a confident girl. In order for you to be a confident girl, you're going to have to let go of that negative self-talk. If you want new opportunities in your life, you might have to stop forcing yourself to do things that are clearly not aligned and you're just burning yourself out doing. There are many things in your life that probably are no longer aligning, and I think that this is a great time for you to release these things so you can create space for the things that are meant for you to come into your life. And I think we spend a lot of the times in our heads ruminating about past situations, not knowing if that was the right situation or the right answer or what's going to happen and this, that. But just understanding like where your mind and where your focus is, it sometimes really does block off the things that the universe is trying to bring you or God is trying to bring you. And I even think about this in terms of what you consume, whether that's online or things that you're reading or whatever it is, right? If you want to become a new version of you, if you want to know new information, you're going to have to not listen to the same thing over and over, or ruminate on something over and over, or continue to listen to things that might not be serving you. I also think this in the terms of food and health. If you're wanting to invite more healing, more change in your physical body, it's going to require you to most likely eat in a new way, to change something up. So I think I'm really thinking, I have thought about this. What is it that I could let go this season so that I can clear up room for the things that actually really do serve me and let go of the things that don't? Now, I want you to ask yourself that question. And I think that you could just ask yourself that right now, or something that you could do maybe tonight, tomorrow, on the weekend, whenever it is that you have some time, to set out maybe 30 minutes or an hour or something, sitting with yourself, sitting with your soul, essentially, really tapping into your body. Bring your hand to your heart, bringing your hand to your belly, breathing into your body, breathing into your heart, to your soul, giving yourself a moment, quieting the noise and the chaos and the outside of everything that influences you and where you go in your life. Slowing things down, coming to the breath, bringing your awareness to the fact that the earth is supporting you. Everything around you is genuinely just supporting you. Maybe lighting some incense or some candles. Maybe starting some meditation music, something very calming. Maybe even get out a journal and sit with yourself and ask yourself. And when I mean ask yourself, I mean ask the wisest part of you, your highest self, the part of you that really knows, your intuitive self. Ask yourself that question of, what can I let go of this season? And see what comes up intuitively. This is not about trying to force an answer, trying to come up with a million things in a list and a to-do list. Genuinely, what is the first insight, the first feeling that comes up? And I really do think that it's almost as if a lot of the times we do know this, but we don't slow down enough to really stop and really think about it and let that really rise. Because a lot of the times if that rises, maybe we're not ready to let that go. Maybe we're not ready to face the reality of, maybe it's time to let this thing go so I can be free. But it's a new season. If we want better for ourselves, our lives, our health, our relationships, our everything, we know what is required. And that is to let go of the things that are no longer serving us. So I would really take that time, just as this new month is coming to us. We're here. Even if you're listening to this podcast episode and it's a new month or halfway through, you can do this whenever. Really asking your highest self, what can I let go of? What do you want me to let go of? What do you need me to let go of? Maybe even an alternative question you could ask yourself is, how can I love you more? Something will come up, and I want you to focus and really keep this in your forefront of your mind as you move through this season of life. Now, when I ask myself this question, intuitively, of course, something came up for me. So I guess we'll just quickly talk about it because I feel like a lot of you guys might resonate with this. And the first thing that really came up when I asked myself this question was, can you please let go of the seriousness of life that sometimes you have? And when I say sometimes, a lot of the times. This is a reoccurring pattern that I have, that I'm consistently working on. I'm watching the way that I'm wording this because, as you'll hear when I continue to talk about this, I'm not really interested in the words working on right now in my life, but for the context of this, working on. And the reason why this has been such a big pattern in my life of it's the serious of life, just being so serious. And what I mean by serious is just working, and not in the terms of burning myself out. I'm not somebody who burns herself out, but I do take life serious, and I'm very responsible, and I have things to do, and I have a purpose on this life, and I am trying to be on that path essentially. And it's beautiful and it's great. But in my life, I've had to really take on this more masculine, serious role because no one else was doing it for me. I had to take control of my life. I had to be very responsible. And although beautiful, like being in the masculine sense in that way and taking responsibility of your life is beautiful. This is not to ever look at that part of us as bad or wrong. It's not. Quite frankly, this part of us, I like to call this my manager, my micromanager part of me, has learned to become like this seriousness about life and controlling things and overthinking and always planning and implementing and to-do lists. She's trying to keep me safe. Quite frankly, this part of me has kept me safe from losing myself in the environment that wasn't a safe and healthy environment in many aspects in my life. So on one hand, I absolutely do not even want to let this micromanager part of me go, but it's almost as if my higher self is now stepping in and saying, it's time. You can let go. You can relax. Look around you. There's so many parts of your life in which you are so much more safer than you really were back in the day. And you can relax. There are so many beautiful moments in your life where you can slow down and you can enjoy, and you don't need to take everything so serious. Now, this takes an active reparenting, an active conversation, your higher self, in regards to the part of you that might be that micromanager. You can even use the term parts work, in which I talk about that in my book, Reparenting. You can also get the book No Bad Parts. That's a great book to understand what I'm talking about when it comes to parts work. But this is not forcing your micromanager, or at least for me, it's not about forcing my micromanager to do things that she's learned to do all of her life. But I just want to let her know from my highest self, essentially, it's okay. You don't have to look at everything as a to-do list, a task. You don't have to look at yourself like you are a project anymore. At least not for this season. We don't need it. We've been doing it for so long that I think what's time for us to do is, when we are looking at things that we get to do in our lives, can we start looking at it from a place of self-care and enjoyment, and slowing down and enjoying the process, and just having fun in a way, versus this self-work. And this is what I kind of was thinking about. I've had this energy towards healthy habits, healing work, journaling, school, content, everything in my life, with this energy of to do, this self-work, this project, this thing I have to get done. And it's really built up over the past few months because, quite frankly, I was a little bit in the dumps, okay? And what I do when I'm in the dumps is I feel my feelings and I allow myself to feel, and I'm not too hard on myself. But eventually, when I want to get out of that, I want to grasp onto healthy behaviors and new rituals and routines and journaling again and mental health, all that, all good things. I love it. This is what I do. This is what I talk about. But in the pursuit of doing that, sometimes I can get in, and I think many of you can probably relate, into this energy of, it's almost like a task now. It's like, oh, another week. I got to go to the gym. I have to journal. I have to work on my beliefs. I have to change my mindset about this. I have to be positive about that. I have to really stop eating the way that I've been eating. I got to do my self-care, glow up season, summer's coming, goals, all things we want. But in the pursuit of getting those things, sometimes it becomes a chore. And I don't want the season to feel like a chore anymore. And so I was thinking, well, what do I do here? Because realistically, you're never going to get me to not, do these healthy habits and these things. I love doing these things genuinely. How do I make it so it doesn't feel like a chore? And I think the mindset shift is really looking at these things as a way of self-caring, caring for myself, nourishing myself, romanticizing the process, slowing down, getting excited about these things, versus looking at health, wellness, habits as self-work. I'm done working. We're entering our self-life era at this point, okay? So that is what I'm going to be witnessing, observing in myself, really not trying like a forcing energy, but bringing my awareness back to what it is that I know that my higher self really wants me to focus on, which is not looking at everything as self-work and looking at these things as self-care, taking care of myself, going to the gym, drinking my electrolytes, green juices, hot girl walks, going to the gym and doing my leg days, recording the podcast, doing work, learning, one-on-one coaching, everything. Let's just have this lighter energy, this fun energy around things. And quite frankly, as much as I do not, I'm not going to say do not, I'm not the best at giving my own self props and patting myself on the back and being like, you deserve it. I do deserve it, for sure. And I think you guys do too. Well, I know you guys do because you guys are the same as me. You guys are such a reflection of everything I'm interested in, everything that I'm going through in so many different ways. And I know that we're all different ages. We all have different life stories, everything. But you guys are the ones that sit at the front of the class. Said this before. You guys sit at the front of the class with your notebooks and you're ready to listen. You're ready to learn. You're ready to implement. You're so aware of yourself. You're so aware of your patterns. Even when you get down on yourself, even when you see you're doing the same thing over and over, the fact that you're just aware of it, the fact that you're willing to look at yourself and the quote unquote flaws that you think you have, and the everything, the chaos and the beautifulness of life, the fact that you guys are willing to do that, y'all deserve to just enjoy life this season. Okay? So that's what we're going to be doing this season. And actually, I pulled a card today. Sometimes I pull cards and they're not that relevant, but it's interesting. This card is obviously relevant. That's why I'm going to talk about it, but I think it's just relevant for this, maybe setting up a meditation session for yourself and asking yourself this question. But recently I mentioned this in one of the past episodes that I have been learning this drop-in process to bring clients through, to bring myself through. Essentially, it's just I'm learning how to guide a meditation. Essentially, that's kind of what it is. In terms of a coaching aspect, like a one-on-one client session, there's other reasons why we're doing this drop-in process. I'm not going to get into it, but essentially that's what I'm learning. And there's a little bit of resistance when learning this. One, because I'm just learning. So naturally, it's going to be rocky at the start. And this is maybe just a PSA for anyone who is starting anything new job, new relationship, healing something, working on something for the first time, new parent, new anything. It's going to be rocky at the beginning. You got to let yourself we have to embrace the cringiness. We have to embrace the weirdness, oh my gosh, what if I do this wrong? Please embrace it. And I'm saying that to myself because I'm doing the best to embrace it. But another part of this journey that I am on right now is having a little bit of resistance to just the fact that it is a meditation process, meaning I have to slow down, bring my awareness to my body, coming to my breath, being somebody who is very much so focused on the mindset. I genuinely am so interested in our mindsets, how our brains work on a neurological level. Like genuinely, that I really am interested in that. And I think that I'll go on in my life to continue to go in the direction of mindset. But in my current life right now, I am learning a lot about the body somatically. And I'm doing that for many reasons. The first reason being I've healed so much of my own self, my own physical ailments, even my mental health by working on the nervous system and slowing down and not being in fight or flight. Like there's no real healing in my personal opinion if it's not you bringing your awareness to the body and understanding what's happening in your body and not just your mind, like not just changing like the thoughts that you think and your belief systems and positively thinking. Like that's amazing stuff. And I love that stuff. I really think that at the end of the day, that's the most like prominent thing that we're always aware of. But true healing occurs when you can really slow down and bring your awareness to the body. Your body will speak to you in many ways. And the more that you regulate your nervous system, a lot of the times, the mental chaos tends to quiet. So you can try and quiet your mind by positively thinking or X, Y, and Z, but sometimes it really is down to bringing your awareness to the body. With that said, meditation, slowing things down, it's not the easiest thing to do. And I think in this generation and in general, we're fast paced, we're go. We want everything now, ADHD everywhere. We can't even focus on one thing for more than like 3 seconds. So meditation can be hard, but it's something that I'm learning. And honestly, as much as I have resistance to it, I am feeling the benefits of slowing down and connecting to my body. And what I will say is, the question that I'm posing you guys to ask yourselves, I really do think you're going to get the most insightful answer when you slow down. You could ask yourself right now, what should I let go of? What's going to happen if you don't slow down and bring your awareness to your body and you have this environment where you've come to your senses for a second before you even ask that question? What will usually happen is you go right into your mind, right? If you don't slow down for a second, you go right up into your mind. You start talking. Now, it's not to say that what you have in your mind is wrong or flawed. You might logically know, oh, there's these 3 things I want to let go of, and I want to work on health and fitness and this, that, and relationship, that, and this, that, and the third. But there's something actually more wise that your body, your soul, your mind, your whatever knows if you just slow down. And I find when you quiet your mind and you slow down for a moment and you do that meditation process in a way, coming to the breath, maybe listening to some meditation music, bringing in the senses of, smells, you won't have to try. That answer comes in so intuitively. It just hits you. It's like, you've been knowing. It's been residing within you. So I guess I'm saying all that to say it's interesting that I'm working on the meditation process in my work life in a way, but also just feeling this new energy of life and asking myself the question, what came up for me and what came up for me about this self-work versus self-care was so spot on. If I really think about it, it's just yeah, that's the energy that I've been in for so long. That's what I needed to hear from my higher self, this, that. But of course, I pulled a card and guess what the card was? It was meditation. That's what it says. I'll show you guys on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. This is a Divine Intuition Oracle deck by Belinda Grace. I got this at the Rock Store in Toronto. So I don't know if you can find this online. I'm sure you can if you type it in. Anyways, that's what the card looks like. And it says meditation. So I figured I would just read it because it kind of just backs up everything I was just saying. It says, you have drawn this card today to reassure you that even though meditation might feel awkward to you, your intuition will love you for it. Which I pulled this card right before I started filming. And when I read that last sentence about, feeling awkward, but your intuition will love you for it, I was just like, yeah, when you get more into a meditative state, your intuition comes online. When you quiet your mind, everyone wants to know, how do I know what my higher self wants for me? How can I trust myself? How do I really, really know? You quiet your mind. How do you quiet your mind? Meditation. Genuinely. Slowing things down. Bringing your awareness to your physical feeling of your body, your heart beating, your chest as you're opening up that breath to come into your body. Feeling what it feels like to have your chair be grounding you and holding your body. The sounds of the room, your breath, the temperature, how that actually feels on your body or your mouth, I should say. Incense, like I said, sounds, things like that. So let's read it. Many people find the process of meditation frustrating or boring. They become restless and wonder if they're doing it correctly, and find it impossible to quiet their consistent stream of thoughts. After a while, they begin to wonder what the point of meditation is, and if they have more important things to do, which is something that tends to happen when you do try and meditate. After 3 seconds, you're just like, okay, but I could be doing something else. I could be X, Y, and Z. So I think maybe a tip for you if you are going to try to do anything meditative is to have some sort of music or guidance and making it very short and intentional. And what I mean intentional is having a question, like posing yourself a question at the end. Not so that you're doing meditation so you can get an answer outside of yourself, but I do think it's nice sometimes when you have that question to ask yourself at the end. Like, okay, when I like slow down and, come to my breath, whatever, I'm going to ask myself a question of what do I need to let go of this season? Or how can I love myself more? Something like that. Or how can I love you more? Something of a myth has arisen around meditation in the Western culture. We have been assured that meditating should be relaxive, and we are consistently shown images of scenery-looking people sitting cross-legged at the base of the tropical waterfall and so blissed out that they could stay there all day, which is obviously what most people's minds usually go to. It's like, well, I don't really, that's not really my vibe. I don't really want to do this. When I think about meditation, I always think about waterfalls and retreats and doing an hour-long meditation, which I don't want to do. I'm so freaking good. So posing the question can be helpful. This image of meditation is great for marketing, but the truth is that meditation is a discipline and it can feel like work. You will engage in wrestling matches with your thoughts. Your will be tested, and you might be bored and your back will ache. So why would you do it? Well, meditation is included in these cards because its benefits are so powerful and so life-enhancing. It is really worth your while finding a method that works for you, which is so great. Now, if you really struggle with meditation, but you really do want to quiet your mind, I would suggest just going online and starting a guided meditation. The best guided meditations that I think are transformative are the ones from the mindful movement. Those ones I will sleep with, or I'll do small little meditations where someone is just guiding you and you don't have to really think about anything, but they're also bringing you away from all the chatter in your mind. The benefits come after you've sat quietly and done your best to focus on your breath, and the benefits accumulate the more you meditate. And I would say the benefits being your intuition starts to talk to you. Your intuition will grow simply by virtue of you sitting still for 10 minutes a day and focusing your attention on your breath, or a candle flame, or a simple mantra. The quiet space you create during this time might feel awkward to you, but your angels and spirit guides, soul, spirit, higher self, and intuition will love you for it. When you take time out from your noise and busyness of your life and pay attention to your inner world, your spiritual world, all these subtle forms of support and guidance will be able to connect with you more freely. And it's really true. And I even think about this when it comes to having a morning journal practice. When you wake up and you're not on your phone, you light your incense, you are sitting in your most beautiful part of your room or your whatever, and you sit there with you and just your thoughts and you let yourself write, that's you really connecting to your higher self and your intuition. And so much wisdom comes out of that. I get the best ideas and insights about life simply from sitting with myself, not from listening to a podcast, not from learning something in school, not from anything. And it's not to mean that I don't learn things from outside sources, right? But this is what usually happens is I will come to my own conclusions and my own wisdoms and my own insights based off of what I am learning in life when I come back to myself. And I almost look at it as I'm having my own little discourse, my own little discussion. Like I go out in the world, I experience life, I learn something, I listen to somebody's opinion or their take on something. And when I have a morning routine cultivated in the morning where I'm just with myself, my own opinion, my own view comes out of that. And that's me strengthening my connection to my intuition, which allows me to be able to trust myself, to have confidence within myself, to know, to move through life with a knowing. And I feel like a lot of people in life, they're moving around not knowing. not knowing the right answer and asking everyone else. Guess what? The answer is inside of you. The answer is inside of you. It always is. It really always is. And I always think about this when I'm even working one-on-one with people. All I'm really doing is asking questions that are allowing somebody to come back to themselves to find that answer within themselves. You have this guidance system, this intuition, this wisdom within you that requires a level of you really practicing getting in touch with. It's not that you're broken. It's not that you don't actually know. It's not that there's something inside of you that's empty and you're just like this lost soul and nobody has the answer. Everyone has the answer, but you don't. It's just about refining the skills that allow you to get so in tune with your wisdom within yourself, and everyone has it, and it's always going to be different. You're one like soul. You're connected with everyone, yes, but you're one unique soul. So strengthen that. And I think that will bring you a really long way. And I think going into this new season, by doing a simple process of slowing things down for a moment and asking yourself, your highest self, what can I let go of this season? What do you need from me? Allow whatever wants to come up, and just let it be with you. This is not about, all right, tomorrow, what is the to-do list of how is it that I'm going to change my mindset from looking at things from self-work to self-care? Nope. Because what usually happens is when that answer comes for your intuition, that answer is staying with you, and you're going to go through life with that awareness of what your higher self really wants you to focus on, and you're going to know the right step. You're going to know the answer. You're going to know what to do. It's going to come within you, coming outside of you, I guess. Come within you, outside, whatever. Now, if you are somebody who is pretty connected to your intuition, your higher self, this inner knowing, you might be able to come up with that answer very quick. Like you might have heard me pose that question and something just instantly popped into your mind. And that could absolutely be it. Like you don't have to like force yourself to do this. Like it might just come up. But if you are struggling, I would highly suggest you do that and you really connect. And even if you did have that thought come in your head, like instantly, oh, I want to let go of seriousness in my life or something like that, do the process and see if anything else comes up. For me, I am very, very connected to my intuition. I have been for so many years. I honestly I think this really started to become very apparent to me probably around right when my dad passed away. Something genuinely like flipped for me. So when I was like 16. So it's been a long time. I'm 28 now, for those of you who do not know, but I am still always making sure to have practices and to come back to myself. This is like a process of always unlearning. And the reason why I say that is because the life we live is fast paced. Things come in our lives and they go in our lives. Like people come and they have their opinions and they inspire us and they inspire us to think differently. And we listen to this thing and that thing. We go on this path and this journey. And there's always going to be like a lot of noise and chaos. And it doesn't even mean that it's bad. It just means sometimes you're occupied with someone else's thoughts or opinions or someone else's, here, or this new thing that you want. Just always remind yourself and remember to come back to yourself. And I like to definitely do this, especially around a new season, because naturally when a new season arises, there's always a desire for me to focus on something. Like I want a new energy, a new something in my life. What is that? Well, let me ask my intuition. Let me ask my higher self. Let me really see what this season is going to require of me. And I think about it, like it connects so well, especially with spring and summer, that what comes up for me would be releasing this seriousness of life, because the things that I do want to do in the spring, summer, and where my heart and soul is being called to, it's going to require me to just let go. Realistically, how am I going to have a very beautiful, social, fun, lights, romanticizing the process, spring, summer, when I'm simultaneously looking at everything as work, as to do, as so hard, seriousness of life. That doesn't work, right? And again, the same thing goes with maybe when you ask yourself that question, your higher self, your intuition, your deepest knowing is saying, I need you to start healing. We really have to, in terms of maybe physical, right? I really want to eat better or feel better or whatever. Well, that's going to require you to let go of a certain habit in your life that maybe your intuition is saying to let go of, you know? So there's a deeper knowing that it's going to require you this season to really heal, like your body, your mind, your everything is, this is the time we've got to, the gut health, the fatigue, the hormones, the something, we know it's time to address it. Well, in order to address that, what is it you're going to have to let go of? Is it the habit that that one habit? Is it the environment? Is it the food, the cycle that you're in? Is it even the relationship that you're in? The pattern that you're in? What is it that you're going to need to let go in order for you to be the version of you that you know deep down that you want to be and that you're meant to be this season? So that's what I'm going to be doing. And when I mean doing, I'm just going to observe and see. I'm just going to, and you know what? I'll say this. I have been already slowly doing this, catching myself when I'm going in this micromanager part of me that wants to control and have anxiety about everything. This is what I usually do. I notice her coming online and I have a conversation with her. I say, do we really need to stress about this thing? What is it that you need, my micromanager part, that is going to allow you to even relax in this moment, right? Because it's not about shaming your part of you and telling yourself just to stop or telling your micromanager to stop, because she ain't going to stop. She's operating from a very young place, most likely, or an older place, but a protection place. So when I go into this part of me that is the serious part of me, I stop and ask her a question. What is it that you need from me right now to feel like we can do this? Do we need to go over something so you feel more supported, so you feel like you have clarity in what it is that we're doing, whether that's like time management things or projects, or, do I need to speak some, not words of affirmation, but I guess words of affirmation into you, reminding you that we are safe, that this job, this thing that we're doing does not have to be hard. It's not hard. It's self-care. It's not self-work anymore. We don't need to do that. Something, right? So anyways, obviously it depends, but I am having conversations with myself when I find my part of me is coming online. And maybe for you, when that part of you that comes online that wants to continue to binge eat, instead of ignoring it, feeling shame about it, just doing it because you feel like you have no other option, ask yourself, what's going on? What does this part of me need? The part of me that feels like she needs to binge eat right now, what do you need? And not from a place of, oh, you just need to stop, or you just need a new diet, or you just need to be ignored. Genuinely, what emotion, what are you feeling right now that you feel like you can't handle on your own, that you're going to food for instead? Do you need support? What's going on in your life? How can you meet your needs in healthier ways, essentially? And even when it comes to patterns in relationships, if you find yourself that you're constantly going into this people pleasing, and you know that that's not going to get you where you want to be this season, when you go into this people pleasing tendency, what is it that you're trying to get? What do you think that you are getting when you're becoming this people pleaser and you're doing everything for someone else, when you're not standing up, when you're not setting boundaries, when you're not expressing yourself? What do you even need to express yourself? Do you need support? Why can't you express yourself? Do we know why? Come inwards every time you find yourself going into these patterns. If you do want to work on these patterns to be able to get to that other side. And I will say my book definitely shines a lot of light on that for me personally when I did a lot of binge eating. Also, when I did a lot of trying to change myself and I hated on myself a lot and I judged myself and I criticized myself and I always wanted to do these habits to change myself. I got to the root of what was going on there, and I give you guys journal practices as well when it comes to meeting your needs in healthier ways. So I would suggest my book if you are finding yourself in patterns and maybe even calling it self-sabotage. Realistically, you doing these behaviors is not self-sabotage. I think that you can understand this by now. Self-sabotage is not sabotage. It's really just a part of you that's trying to protect you because that's what it's learned how to do. You've learned to suppress your emotions. You've learned to hate on yourself. You've learned to binge eat and, make yourself feel good in the moment because you don't know how to deal with the stressors of life or the loneliness or the emptiness that you feel in life or the lostness that you feel in life or the confusion. There is always a reason why you're doing it. And the first step of change when it comes to doing any sort of behavior or thing that you realize that it's not helping you anymore is not to look at yourself like you're bad or you're wrong or you're sabotaging. You're not. There's actually just a part of you that's trying to protect you. And bringing it back to my micromanager part, I know that she's just, when she wants to come online and stress about things that she doesn't need to stress about, it's just her going into an old behavior because she's triggered with stressors in life that are not the same stressors in life that used to be stressors in life that she ended up creating this habit out of, this controlling habit out of. I no longer need to do that anymore in my life. So just understanding that when it comes to change and self-sabotage. And I think one last thing I'll say is with the glow up challenge. We've been doing a glow up challenge. We're going, this is Monday, so it'll be the 4th week of the glow up challenge. So many guys of you are participating. And there's been a few of you who have commented being like, girl, I've fallen off of the challenge, but I love that I started the challenge. This gave me such a good start to doing healthy behaviors and habits, and I'm still doing it, and I'm not being perfect, but I'm still doing it. And this is just like, it made me so happy when I was reading some of those comments because I'm like, this is exactly the work that we've been doing. You guys are learning how to understand that you not being perfect is you not self-sabotaging and you not hating yourself for falling off. Understanding that you're a human being who's going through life and you're never going to be perfect anyways. And instead of shaming yourself, love yourself through the process and continue to go in an upward spiral. Compound on those 2 workouts that you did, even if you didn't do all 5 like you set out to do. And I just wanted to say that just in case anyone else is feeling like, I've been falling off or, I've been doing this behavior that I don't really love, Understand that there's so many parts of you that are playing a role in everything that you do in your life. Sometimes it's a part of you that's trying to protect you. Sometimes it's just a part of you that can't keep up with the everything of life. There's stressors in life, whether that be relationships, environment, physical, life in general is moving so quickly, so fast paced. You have so many goals. Things build up and it triggers parts of you to go in this energy of fight or flight that it doesn't need to be. It just perceives everything to be a threat, but it's actually not. So you can't always control every part of you at all times, but understand that that's fine. You don't need to. But give yourself grace when you find yourself not being perfect because it's just never going to be a thing. It's never going to be a thing. It doesn't need to be a thing. And that is the best lesson that I've ever learned when it comes to self-development and working on myself. And that is how I genuinely glowed up into the version of me that I always wanted to be, was through this place of acceptance and dropping perfectionism and not even trying to be perfect because it just doesn't exist. That's how I got to this level of health, of consistency with eating right and no longer binge eating, healing my relationship with food, healing my relationship with my autoimmune disease, everything, not relationship, sorry, to my autoimmune disease, but my autoimmune disease, my health issues, my nerve pain, my everything was through that type of mindset. And learning how to work on my nervous system regulation, de-stressing, all that good stuff, which again, I talk about it in my book. I share that. First half of my book is about my story. So that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of this. Please take your time with this question of, what do I need to let go of this season? What would you like me to let go of? What do I need to let go of? There's always something. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.